Now, Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and there's nothing better than a homemade dessert to make Valentine's Day extra special. Now, today I'm going to be making a New York-style cheesecake. It's Philip's favorite kind, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to make it home. Now, for my New York-style cheesecake, I like to make a shortbread crust. Now, you can make it with chocolate or with graham cracker crust, whatever you like. But I like a shortbread crust because I think it gives it a little bit more flavor and makes it seem a little more fancy. I cook from scratch all the time, and that's my preference. But you know, there's a few things that I still buy from the grocery store, and you know what? It's okay. Balance is making homemade things and on occasion using something for convenience. And this is one of those things that I use in my cheesecake, is a shortbread cookie in my shortbread cookie crust. Now we need 1 1/4 cups of shortbread cookie crumbs. And the easiest way to do that is in the Ninja blender. Now, if you don't have a Ninja, you can do it in a food processor. You can also do it by hand. If you don't have a fancy blender like this, a food mallet works just fine. Or you could also use your rolling pin, put it in a Ziploc bag, roll it out, and crush it up by hand. It's not hard to do it that way. This is just a lot faster. So I need 1 1/4 cups. That's 1 1/4 cups of shortbread cookies, 1/3 cup of sugar, and 1/2 cup of melted butter. Now I'm going to set that aside and I'm going to prepare my pan. Now this recipe is for a full-size cheesecake, and for Philip and I, that's a lot of dessert. Remember, we're empty nesters. I like to use these 4.5-inch springform pans, and so this allows me to make 4 cheesecakes out of a single recipe. Now, cheesecake freezes beautifully. This means that I can stick some cheesecakes in the freezer and we can have a treat whenever we want it. If you're not familiar with a springform pan, it comes with 2 parts. I've got my ring and I've got my base. Inside there is a ring, and this base fits inside the ring, and it just cinches right inside that ring, and this holds it all together. A springform pan allows you to easily take the cheesecake out of the pan just by lifting it off. Now, you do need to prepare your pans. You want to line your springform pans with parchment paper. Now, my preference is to make it so this is up, so it's a little more level, but you can put it in either way. So we're fitted over. We're going to work that into the groove, and we're going to tighten it up. And we're going to cut off the excess paper. Now we're going to divide up the crust mix between the 4 bowls. Now we're going to go ahead and press that crust mix down into the bottom of the springform pan, and it can go up the side just a little bit. Now these little single serve cheesecakes are perfect for 2 people. Now we're going to stick this in the freezer just so it can set up a little bit. Now we're going to make the cream cheese filling. Now we're going to start with 2 packages of cream cheese, and these have been softened, so they've been sitting out all morning. And I'm making this in my Bosch Universal Plus mixer, which if you watched one of my other videos, I just got my Bosch mixer. I did an unboxing video if you want to learn all about this mixer and why I picked it out. Now I am using the mixer today with the bowl scraper, which I'm trying for the very first time, so we're going to see how it does in mixing up this cream cheese filling. Next, I'm going to add the sugar. This takes in some sour cream. Now I'm going to put the full recipe in the Kowalski Mountain subscriber library. You can get the link down in the description box. You can sign up and you get access to all of our family favorite recipes. Next, I'm going to add some evaporated milk, and I want to be sure to shake this can up really well. And some lemon juice. We're going to add the lid, and let's mix this up. Now I'm just pulsing it a little bit to break up that cream cheese. We want that to have a real smooth texture. Now we're going to add the eggs. Mix those eggs. Now that is a nice smooth texture. I do like the bowl scraper. It has kept the sides so smooth and clean. I'm really happy with that. Now that the cream cheese batter is ready, we're going to divide it up between the 4 springform pans. Now this looks beautiful. It's nice and smooth. That looks amazing. Now I'm trying not to fill them too much because I want to fill them as evenly as I can. Now I'm just going to tap these. That helps the cream cheese mixture to lay out smoothly, and it also helps get out any bubbles that might be in the mix. I did a pretty good job of making these even. They look pretty close. It's a lot easier to handle these 4 springform pans when I put them on a cookie sheet. That way I can take them in and out of the oven as a group, and it's just a lot easier to manage it. And if they overflow, which hopefully they won't, it doesn't go all over the oven. So as soon as this oven is heated up, these are going to go on in. Now the New York-Style Cheesecake has a topping that goes on next. So we're going to go ahead and mix that up while this just has a few more minutes left in the oven. I need 2 cups of sour cream. Now I'm going to add some sugar to this. And a little bit of vanilla. Oops, now we're going to mix this up nice and smooth. Now if you wanted to, the vanilla makes it a little bit brown. You can buy clear vanilla that won't have that brown color to it. If you were really concerned about presentation, you could buy that clear vanilla. It's still going to taste just as good. Now these have cracked a little bit, which is very disappointing. They shouldn't have cracked. So that tells me that the time is a little bit too long on that. It's really hard to adjust from a big cheesecake to a small cheesecake. So I usually go for about the same time. They have been in there for 30 minutes and I got this cracked look on it. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the topping on it. The nice thing about the topping is it's going to cover up any of our mistakes. Now in the recipe that I'm going to put on my subscribers library, I'll be sure to notate the specific time. So that cooked for 25 minutes and it cracked. So I would do 20 minutes and do the topping. Okay, these are going to go back into the oven for just about, I'm going to say, 8 minutes. Let's see how those cheesecakes look. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes, so it would have had a total of 10. I'm going to feel better about that because it still looks a little not set. All right, let's pull these out. Well, here they are, and they're going to set for about 10 minutes, just the way they are, and then we're going to loosen the springform rings. So we're going to give that about 10 minutes, We'll move on to the next step. Now these have cooled for just 10 minutes. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to loosen the rings, and we're going to use a butter knife to separate the cheesecake from the ring, but we're not going to take the ring off just yet. We want it to stay on there so the cheesecake can completely set. So we're just going to loosen it just a little bit. And we're going to put our knife down and along the edge and just help separate it from that edge. That's going to make it easier when it's time to take this off. Now these are going to set for about another hour. So all I did was loosen it. So I'm loosening it up just a little. Take my butter knife and let me clean that off. And we're just going to go inside and separate it from the wall of the springform pan. Now these aren't ready to come out yet. They need to set up a little bit more. Now this one I went on the edge of the pan with my topping, and so that split, which is not a catastrophe. If you're just eating it because you enjoy it, that won't matter at all. If you're trying to make something a little bit special with aesthetics in mind, this might not be your first pick. Got one last one. Loosening that up. All right, now these are going to set for an hour here on the counter. Then they're going to cool overnight in the fridge, and then we'll go ahead and take the rings off. So for now, these are going to sit and cool, and we're going to come back. Friends, I hope you have enjoyed this video of making New York-style cheesecake with me, and I can't wait to enjoy this with Philip in Tennessee when we go on our anniversary trip. Now I'm going to freeze these. These are going to be easy to take with us, and then I can pop one out for our anniversary dessert. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, hit that button. We are almost to our goal of 1,000 subscribers, and we can't make it without you. So help us make that goal. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. The New York-style cheesecakes are frozen solid. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap them in freezer paper. And I'm going to label these to put in the freezer. Now what happens, I'm not packaging these into a container. They are being put in just as the cheesecake. And so there is some prep when you take this out of the freezer. When you take it out of the freezer, you want to unwrap it while it's still frozen solid. And you want to put it into a container that it can properly defrost in. Otherwise, it might get squished. But to save freezer space, I wrap them just in the cheesecakes, and I don't have to wrap them in any bowls or containers. Now I am going to do a double layer of the freezer paper just to protect the cheesecake from any freezer burn. And I always date everything with the year.